in the world. The US engagement with India has gone up, including India's participation in the very important Quad alliance, and that also clearly gives us an indication as to why India remains one of the most important nations in the world, because it's a democracy. In my own opinion, some nations which picked up democracy and gave up in between or had flirtation with democracy from time to time, like our neighbors on the western side, have suffered immensely by not continuing the path of democracy. India nourished its democracy. We moved our voting share of the populace from 45% at the time of independence to now 67%, which is higher than the US at 62% and UK at 66%, making it truly a very participative democracy. Our people decide who will govern them, who will take the country forward. Election after election, we see this happening. Today, when we have an elected government which commands a majority in Parliament, that gives momentum to our nation. That takes many of our cherished dreams forward at an accelerated pace. I would also like to point out that across the globe, MNCs choose leaders from countries that have cherished democratic values. Is it therefore any wonder that 10 of our Fortune 500 companies today are led by an Indian? Do you really see even one Chinese heading an MNC today? There is none. So very clearly, I personally believe that the difficulties that we may have gone through these last 75 years, but continuing to be on the path of democracy, has extremely held us well today. In my own opinion, going forward, the world will choose India over other large countries which don't follow democratic systems. We are getting the tailwinds to fire up our manufacturing. I heard Anil Agarwal just before me. He talked about the rich dividends that India can have by exploiting our natural resources. He talked about very large imports of electronics coming from the globe. That is fast changing with the government's scheme on PLI and promoting massive manufacturing in our country. So I really remain very hopeful. And I have no doubt that what Amitabh Kant mentioned yesterday, that by 2047, India will become a high-income country, is going to be achieved precisely because of the reason that India is a democracy. But it's also incumbent upon each one of us to have a unity in action to ensure that we cherish our democratic values, we strengthen our institutions, and we ensure that this democracy that we all are so proud of delivers to our masses at a massive scale. With that, I'll end my address by saying we are blessed to be in a country where all of us have the right to choose who governs us. We are very fortunate that this democracy has actually strengthened over the last 75 years and is on the course to be, to my mind, a world example of being the best democracy. Thank you.
Thank you so much.